Hi everyone, I'm happy to talk about privacy and security today. My name is Yvan, I'm a student at ETH in Zurich and I run a startup that is focusing on internet privacy and security. So we all know that our data on the internet is not really safe. The internet as we know it is neither free nor safe and private. And we have seen in recent data leaks, be it with Facebook or other companies, that our data can be publicly leaked. And this has very important implications. It can be abused, it can be used for social engineering, and we have also seen that our data that either gets leaked or that we willingly share online on social media can be used to manipulate us in the forged elections that we have had in recent time. And on the other hand, there are a lot of people who don't have free access to the internet because they live in countries where they have a strong internet censorship, like in China or in Turkey or in Russia. So to try to address all these problems and to make the internet a little bit safer, we developed SnowHaze. So what is SnowHaze? SnowHaze is both a private browser and an anonymous VPN service. And we believe that just a good private browser is not enough and a good VPN service is not enough. So that's why we combined both into a simple application. And we want to make data protection accessible to everyone. And that's why we started with developing SnowHaze. Everything is open source and we developed with the privacy by design approach. So on one side we have the browser, and the browser contains everything that you need to effectively protect your data online. So we block tracking, we block fingerprinting, we block ads, we block cookies, we have randomly changing user agents, we force HTTPS connections, you can choose among 10 different search engines, and we have a lot of functions that are built right into this app. And because it's also an aspect of privacy, SnowHaze automatically recognizes adult content websites and deletes them from your history. So that's for the browser part. On the other side, we have the VPN, and we have developed the first VPN that is fully anonymous. And also here, we take a privacy by design approach and have absolutely no data. We have no analytics running. We don't know who our users are. And because we have no data, there's nothing that can be leaked and compromised. So because the rest of the presentation will be on VPN, I want to give you a quick recap about VPN and how it works. So basically, a VPN is an encrypted connection to a server. And in the classical way, we access the internet directly. So when we want to visit a site, we take the red path and contact the site directly. The website that we visit, they see our IP address because they have to know where to send information to. And this is a problem because the IP address can very effectively be used to track you around on the internet. Also, whatever is sent over the network is not necessarily encrypted. When you use a VPN, instead of directly contacting the website, your entire internet traffic is redirected through a server. And that is, the website sees only the request coming from the server, but not who is hiding behind it. And the good thing, or probably the best thing, is that the connection between your device and the server is encrypted. So nobody can see your traffic. Also, your ISP doesn't know, your internet service provider doesn't know what sites you visit. anyone who is in the same network, for example, like here, if you send an email, it would go out unencrypted. With a VPN, you can protect your entire traffic. And when you're connected to a VPN, you can also bypass geographic restrictions. For example, when you're abroad, you can't watch SRF here in Switzerland. So what you can do is you connect to a VPN that is in Switzerland. So the request to SRF comes from within Switzerland, and then you can unlock this access. And we talked before about people who don't have access to the free internet because of censorship. Also here in countries like China and Russia, VPNs are very popular because you can connect to a server abroad and access the internet from there without disclosing what sites you visit. So the VPN market is quite competitive and very saturated, so there was definitely no need for yet another VPN service, but we still wanted to bring something new, and we still developed our own VPN because we wanted to make something new. And we have a lot of different VPN services that differ in price, in usability, in privacy and security. And here, what is definitely not a good solution are free VPNs, because running a VPN is something expensive. You have to run expensive hardware that is connected to has very fast internet connections. And so if somebody is providing you this service for free, they have to make money somehow. And the only thing that they have from you is your data. So free VPN usually monetize your data. So that's definitely not something that you want to do. With paid VPN services, you know at least how this company makes money. And there are other problems with common VPN services, is that a lot of them are intransparent. You don't really know who is behind that company. They also engage in shady business practices. So, and VPN, most or all VPN services, they base their data protection regulation on a policy that they promise to respect. But you as a user have no chance to verify if they really do what they promise. And the last thing is that a VPN service, even if they don't log your traffic, they have the ability to identify you as a user. So what we wanted to do is to build a VPN that has the same security, the same level of encryption, but with a privacy by design approach. We want to provide our services fully anonymous. We don't know, without knowing who the users are. And that's why we developed a new protocol that helps us providing this service anonymously. So from when we launched our services 1.5 years ago until now, we were only on iOS. This was rather easy for us to provide this anonymity because you just have to make a call with Apple and ask if this person is entitled to use the subscription, and then you can provide the keys like this. What we did to make all the users anonymous, we just distributed the same login credentials to all the users. So from the point of view, we check, is the user entitled to use that service? If yes, he just gets the same login credential as the other users. So from the point of view of the server, it just looks like one big user. And we have no possibility to identify a user or to link sessions together. But now that we want to expand onto all platforms, this was not really a good solution. And that's why we needed to come up with a new protocol that supports this anonymity across all platforms. And I'm happy to present you for the first time publicly how this works. So now to provide this still our service anonymously. Every user generates a key pair, of which they send us the public key. So with this public key, at every time step, we encrypt their access token, a valid access token to the server. And after we encrypted this token with their public key, we delete the link between the unencrypted token and the encrypted token or the public key. Then we wait, this is of matters of days, before we distribute the encrypted token to the users. So every user then get an encrypted token, which he can decrypt using his private key, and then has an unencrypted token that gives him access to this service. And we, from our side, have no idea who this token is coming from, because we deleted all the links between the unencrypted token and the private key, and the public key and the encrypted token. Yeah. So that's our big novelty, to be able to provide VPN services anonymously. And then, before the talk, I was asked to address a few questions. So the first one is, how can I, as a customer, be sure that you don't log my traffic? This is indeed a difficult question, and you as a user can never be certain that we delete all logs and all IP address and information. But our code is open source. You can check what the code would do, and still all the information that is on the server is not tied to a user. So there's no link between the information on the server and the user, because even we don't know who the users are. The second question I was asked was, what would happen if a government entity raids your data centers and intercepts my traffic? It's a bit the same as with the first question. So there's no link between data on the server and you as a user. So if some government entity would come and raid our data server, they would just see a bunch of connections coming in and going out, but there's no way to trace this back to a single user, and even we couldn't help them. Of course, if they would force us to include a backdoor, we would shut down this respective service and build it again somewhere else. And the last question, which is a question I hear a lot, is how do you deal with illegal activities conducted through your service? So this can be a problem, but we didn't develop it with a bad intention. We don't have the intention to support criminal activities. It can still happen that technology is misused to do bad things. I like to think that it's like a knife. It was made for cutting bread. You can use it to stab someone, but it's not what it was intended to. So nobody would ban this knife just because you can use this technology to do bad things. And the thing here is also that somebody who would engage in criminal activity would probably prefer services like Tor, which would provide another kind of anonymity, but be much less usable. So our goal is to make data protection accessible and usable for the users, because it's usually a trade-off between usability and privacy. So if we can somehow combine both, I think it's a good solution. So that's it for my presentation. I'm happy to discuss any questions that you have afterwards, and thanks for your presence.